Evening. Thank you for joining us on Nationwide, reaching you live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I am Ruth Aguilera. President Muhammadu Buhari's four-day visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia that ended last Saturday had extensive talks with the kingdom rulers King Salman bin Abdulaziz and his son, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, marked an important upswing in relations between Nigeria and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu says, as part of his engagement, President Buhari joined Presidents Mahamadou Issoufou of the Niger Republic and Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya in a plenary session to discuss the topic, what's next for Africa? How will investment and trade transform the continent into the next great economic success story? In his arguments, President Buhari said the vigorous implementation of key reforms by his administration in oil and gas, farming and agriculture, as well as the country's vast human resources, made mostly of young men and women, the country's rich land and mineral resources, eminently positions her for substantial capital inflows. He said the economy holds great promise of win-win for investors. The president also highlighted some key achievements of his administration and expressed a strong determination to use agriculture and ICT as vehicles to attain the target of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years. The statement further says, on the sideline of the conference, President Buhari held strategic meetings with the leadership of Saudi Oil and Gas Group, the country's sovereign wealth fund and public investment fund. The Nigerian president also hosted a U.S. team with the Minister of State, Petroleum and GMD of NNPC, where he was briefed on the ongoing efforts to return looted funds. The Treasury Secretary also raised the possibility of the U.S. investing in Nigeria under the new United States International Development Finance Corporation, which provides $60 billion for investment in developing nations. Before they left the kingdom, both leaders reviewed the historically strong and friendly relations between the two countries and looked at ways through which it can be formalized, and therefore agreed to set up a joint Saudi-Nigeria Strategic Council. This council will be made up of government officials and businessmen from both countries, and the areas of focus are economic growth and development, investments in oil and non-oil sectors, and security cooperation. And away from the Future Investment Initiative, back home as Nigeria-Canada Investment Summit 2019 opens in Abuja with the theme Reaching for Greater Heights. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo says the federal government is determined to work collaboratively with investors to create the best possible environment for business in the sector to thrive.
Few years promise to be exciting for industry, trade and commerce in Nigeria, especially with the coming into force of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. Nigeria remains the most logical destination for reaping maximum benefit from these agreements. Consequently, we've devoted considerable attention to improving the Nigerian business environment and by all accounts recorded notable success. We are determined not just to ensure that we keep to the plans that we put in place, but that we encourage all of our partners to work with us.
Vice President speaking at the Nigerian-Canada Investment Summit 2019. Right now, the clamor for domestic solutions to peculiar challenges facing Nigeria as a country has been described as apt. Now, Discussing the topic homegrown solutions to Nigerian socio-economic problem on Good Morning Nigeria, experts stress that realistic data collection and attitudinal change are crucial in drafting and designing homegrown solutions. Let's hear from Ekemini Williams.
As part of federal government's commitment to lift 100 Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years, President Muhammadu Buhari advocated homegrown solutions to the unique challenges confronting the country's socio-economic development at the 25th Nigerian Economic Summit. Analysts say the culture of fleecing national resources for personal gain is a major impediment to development, which must be corrected through elaborate investment in education, technology, and social infrastructure.
And this, we can get it when we are able to address competency. In terms of our research and innovations that we are coming up with, we should be using them. Nigeria should patronize our researches. By the time we are able to patronize the outcome of our resources, our researches, honestly speaking, competency will come. And when we have this competency, it will serve as solutions to our problem.
What you teach your children 20 years ago, 10 years ago, the youth, is not what you teach now. Educational strategy must change in Nigeria. It must be ambitious, it must be bold, it must be impatient, and it must be businesslike.
Fundamentally, we lack discipline as a country, such that even when we have the policies, we don't have the discipline to implement them to the letter as the way and manner they were designed.
A bottom-up approach to homegrown solutions is also canvassed, where rural entrepreneurship is given priority.
There are certain centers in which they are not supposed to be in the town. If you are thinking of these centers, they should be where the raw materials are. And when the finishing want to be done, we move to the cities to do the finishing, if at all.
If you don't have data, you cannot design policy and address developmental challenges in a realistic manner.
Discussants say Nigeria must learn from the successes of the Asian tigers by ensuring quality leadership recruitment and a review of socio-economic policies to drive development. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
In other news, National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Adams Oshomole, has condemned the attack on him and some guests at a convocation ceremony of the Edo University, Iyamo. The APC chairman regretted that such a gathering of intellectuals and academia was hijacked by some political thugs, thereby causing serious embarrassment to the state.
The headline is about attack, which was unfortunate. Now, these talks have been there the morning, they be tear gas, the atmosphere is charged. You imagine if you heard sound of tear gas across the road, people naturally will come out in the typical local community. And because of what happened to me in Benin just 2 weeks ago, at about 7:30 to 8 p.m. to attack my Benin residence.
The letter was earlier sent to the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, and as such expects that the law enforcement agents will investigate the matter and bring those responsible to book.
Even during normal electioneering, you do not organize rallies in a university compound. Interestingly, when I got to the office of the Vice Chancellor, I met the CBN governor, who complained to the VC that he wasn't invited to address a rally. He was invited to deliver a convocation lecture. And he was not going to talk to those thugs who were wearing all kinds of inscription. He did not come for a political rally. I told the VC to clear the place, otherwise he can't see himself going down because he felt he was not safe. Now this is exactly what I heard, which I conveyed to the IG.
While apologizing to the concerned dignitaries, the APC chairman cautions desperate politicians to tread carefully and always put the love of the state above their personal interest. And talking security, Nigerian Army says its attention has been drawn to a video allegedly showing some Army personnel engaged in unethical torture and extrajudicial killing of a suspected Boko Haram terrorist. A statement by the acting director of Nigerian Army Public Relations, Colonel Sagir Musa, indicates that the Army condemned the alleged unprofessional conduct, stressing that the rules of engagement and standard operating procedures guiding the conduct of its operations are clear about human rights abuses and extrajudicial actions, including the rights of the arrested terrorists. Accordingly, the Nigerian Army has commenced investigation to apprehend culprits with the aim to administering sanctions in accordance with the military justice system. Members of the public will be informed of the outcome of the findings and necessary disciplinary actions embarked. Let's go to Kogi now. The Kogi State Police Commissioner Hakim Aramide Busari has warned those in possession of firearms to hand them over to the police or face the consequences. Commissioner Aramide was speaking following the arrest of a retired Assistant Commissioner of Police, Suleiman Abutu, and 6 others in Dekina local government area of the state. Let's hear from Christopher Ajibola.
The commissioner said the retired assistant commissioner was arrested following a tip-off which led to the discovery of guns and ammunition from the suspect in the Kina local government area of the state. While stressing that it has mapped out strategies to ensure a hitch-free election, he observed that it is only security operatives that are allowed by law to carry weapons.
They were suspected to be armed robbers / kidnappers. So that is why they were arrested. So they are still undergoing investigation and interrogation. So they have been handed over to SAS in the Lokoja.
He urged politicians to play the game by the rules and avoid acts that will lead to breakdown of law and order, as a combined operatives of the police, army, and other paramilitary agencies are working assiduously to ensure a hitch-free polls. Items recovered from the arrested persons include pump-action guns, AK-47 rifles, and pistols. Ajibola Christopher, NTA News.
In another development, the Nigeria Police says it will sustain engagement with stakeholders to ensure democratic processes are followed in the forthcoming elections in Kogi and Bayelsa states. Inspector General of Police Mohammed Adamu Abubakar, who was in Lafia, assures Nigerians of the force commitment to the protection of lives and property. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
IGP Adamu says the police will reinforce security to ensure transparency and credibility prevails during the polls. He says strategic security measures are in place across the country to contain the activities of notorious syndicates.
It is only in partnership that, as a people, we can defeat the criminality or criminally minded element in our midst who are bent on destabilizing our cherished peace, security, and communal values.
Governor Abdullahi Sule, Senator Umaru Tanko Al-Makura, Minister of State Science and Technology Mohammed Abdullahi, Emir of Lafia, Sidi Bagi I, and other personalities challenged the IGP to do more for the nation.
The IGP is celebrated here at home, but he is more respected worldwide and globally, and this I know.
Anyone who calls himself from Lafia or Nasarawa State should be proud of the Inspector General of Police.
The IGP is recognized by Lafia community for hard work and selfless commitment since assumption of office in January 2019. In Lafia, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Let's go on a break. We're back shortly, so don't go anywhere.
Democracy has its essential part. Security and peace form the core foundations of any prosperous democratic society. Insecurity deprives a society of the much-needed stability for anything tangible to be achieved. In Kogi State today, there has been peace and stability in the past 3.5 years. This didn't happen by accident. One man Governor Yahaya Bello understands the need for peace as an essential ingredient for development. The issue of resolving insecurity in the land tops his table of preference. He provided security agencies with numerous patrol vehicles. Kidnappers' dens have been destroyed. Gangs of robbers have been arrested and prosecuted. Criminals are denied access to land. Kogi State has become one of the most peaceful states in the Nigerian Federation. He needs our support for further development on the solid foundation being laid. Think GYB, a rational choice.
Impact of Niger Delta Development Commission on the citizens and region is the focus this week on 88 Tuesday Live. The program promises to be incisive and informative. Join us at 10:30 p.m.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, invites select directorate and senior level officers of the ministries, departments and agencies to the first phase of a 3-day intensive training program on cabinet documentation and processing for enhanced service delivery. Theme: capacity building on policy management processes and cabinet documentation for enhanced service delivery. Training objective: to strengthen the skills of directorate and senior level officers of the ministries, departments and agencies in the area of policy management, including preparing and processing of council documents. The training is scheduled to hold as follows. Date: November 9, 2019. Time: 9 a.m. daily. Venue: Center for Management Development, CMD, Shangisha, Lagos State. All participants are expected to arrive on Friday, November 8, 2019 for induction ceremony at 3 p.m. Attendance is strictly by invitation. Announcer: Babatunde Lawal, Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Affairs Office, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation.
Get ready for your miracles,
healings,
blessings,
victories,
salvation,
and testimonies
happening live at the 18th Abuja Special Holy Ghost Service. Themed: Peace Be Still.
Date: 7 to 8 November 2019. Thursday is the praise night and Friday is the Holy Ghost service, 4 p.m. daily.
Venue: Redemption Campground, Kilometer 23, Abuja Kefi Expressway, Nasarawa State. Ministering: Pastor E.A. Adeboye, the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God and other anointed ministers of God.
Music by Femi Okunuga,
Pastor Kunle Ajayi,
Perfected Praise Singers,
the Northern Region Family Choir, and others.
Come and encounter Jesus, the Prince of Peace. See you there.
The Lord can come.
The Corporate Affairs Commission Training School invites companies' directors and secretaries to a one-day training on the role of company secretaries and directors. Compliance requirements. The training seeks to build capacity of companies' executives, secretaries, directors, registrars, compliance officers, and lawyers. Date: 19th November 2019. Venue: CAC Training School, Plot 565, Ndola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, FCT, Abuja. Time: 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Registration: 100,000 naira per participant. Payment can be made through remitter to CAC TSC account number 022202600100. Receipt should be forwarded to email trainingschool@cac.gov.ng. For further inquiries and details, contact Dominic 0802-328-0254 or Dr. Femi 0803-578-8972. CAC, committed to prompt and efficient service.
Good to have you there. Now we're heading to Lagos to join Michael Olaleye for more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Ruth, and welcome to Lagos. The Nigerian Navy has again demonstrated its capability to protect the nation's maritime assets and area of responsibility in the Gulf of Guinea for economic prosperity. Dr. Guyemi reports that the 5-day exercise tagged Grand African Nemo was held in collaboration with the French Navy.
Keeping the seas and maritime environment safe is a task that the Nigerian Navy undertakes with every sense of responsibility. Evolving challenges and security threats in the maritime space however, calls for better information sharing among regional maritime awareness capability centers across Gulf of Guinea nations, which was the reason for Exercise Grand African Nemo 2019, to which Nigeria committed 4 vessels and a helicopter.
As you practice these things so that in real time when it happens, you know what to do, and it improves your effectiveness and efficiency.
The aim is to train together, to share our experience, to improve maritime security here in the zone.
To assess the proficiency of its men in carrying out vessel boarding, search and seizure operations, this simulation by Nigerian Navy Special Boat Service operatives on board participating French vessels was a display of professionalism.
I'm very satisfied with the level of competence in which my officers and men have discharged their responsibilities and duties.
Exercises such as this ensures that officers and men of the Nigerian Navy are kept abreast of their roles and duties, as well as latest strategies in tackling maritime threats and other forms of insecurity. From the Nigerian Navy ship Babana, Dotun Okunyemi, NTA News.
Creating a platform to promote trade and bilateral relations among businesses is paramount for the growth of the economy. Trade fairs, therefore, become important economic tools that can make these objectives achievable as well as boost investments. This is the position of key players at the ongoing Lagos International Trade Fair. In Lagos, Ruth Ario Samuel reports.
Minister of State, Industry, Trade and Investment, Ambassador Mariam Katagum, who represented the president while commending the initiative of the trade fair, said the task of reforming Nigeria cannot be achieved without the inclusive participation of the private sector and promotion of made-in-Nigeria products.
Trade fairs of this nature are vital economic tools for the realization of my government's economic agenda for the industrial upgrade and economic development of the country.
Deputy Governor, Lagos State, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, said the Lagos State government will continue to partner with producers in order to ensure that the business environment is conducive for investments.
Our aim is to be Africa's model megacity and the melting pot of business and industrial activity in the sub-region. We will not rest on our horse until the economic landscape of our state is transformed.
The president of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Babatunde Ruwashe, highlighted that the force of globalization has reinforced the need to promote healthy competition among SMEs for optimum productivity.
We are committed to ensure the business environment is enabling for all investors.
The Lagos International Trade Fair with theme Connecting Businesses, Creating Value with exhibitors from within and outside the country will run for 10 days. In Lagos, Ruth Ario Samuel, NTA News.
Following the collapse of a part of a 2-story building that was under construction at the Glover Road, Ikoyi, Lagos, the State Emergency Management Agency has pulled down the structure and 4 others cited by the same owner to avert further casualty. And the Danos who visited the scene reports.
Till the 1st of November 2019, a building under construction was standing right behind me. But today, however, it has been completely pulled down after a part of it collapsed, killing one of the construction workers on duty. That has also led to the pulling down of several other structures still in the same premises, owned by the same person. The buildings, which were under construction at Glover Court, Ikoyi, Lagos, were pulled down because they failed integrity tests conducted by the Solid Material Testing Agency and Physical Planning Ministry.
And that's why we are talking tough. That place will be forfeited to the government when we look at it again with a lot of factors.
Obtaining a development permit doesn't mean you are doing the right thing. Once you obtain a development permit from the state government to build, you have to ensure that the Lagos State Building Control Agency is informed that you are when you intend to commence work.
In the past 2 weeks, there have been reported cases of building collapse in different areas of Lagos, that is Ajah, Magodo, Ojuelegba, and this recent one in Ikoyi area of Lagos. Nigerians only hope and pray that relevant agencies will take adequate steps to ensure that contractors follow due process. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Thus, our contribution from Lagos Nationwide continues with Ruth in Abuja.
Many thanks, Michael, and welcome back to Abuja. Now, earlier in our studios, Wobin Ayubagura, Sector Commander FRSC, FCT Command, spoke on production and issuance of number plates. Let's see it.
Production of number plates in the Federation is saddled in the hands of the FRSC. What we do is we do the production. The sales of these number plates is done by the states, boards of internal revenue. So if the state places an order, then it's also number plates. We produce these number plates and then we send to them. And then they sell to the public. So we are not involved in the sales of the number plates, but we produce and then we give it out to the states to sell. That's our role in the number plate production. It's done by the Board of Internal Revenue.
Okay.
But the FRSA has a desk officer to any number plate that is sold out by the Board of Internal Revenue. Then this number, the information is now given to our desk officer to enter into our data bank.
Okay.
So any plate number seen anywhere at all can be traced. Who is the owner of that plate number? Of course, the template for getting this information is already there. So all we need to do is, when we now get this information into our data bank, just picking the number plate alone, we can trace who is the owner of that number plate, his telephone number, information about him, where he stays, everything about him, we can trace it there.
FRSC Sector Commander there speaking on production and issuance of number plates. Now, moving on to peace talks, the National Boundary Commission has been urged to wake up to its responsibility of proper boundary demarcation towards ensuring that peace reigns in Nigeria. Speaking at a peace summit in Umuahia, Abia State Governor Dr. Okezie Victor Ukbazu also called on leaders at all levels to be mindful of their actions and spoken words capable of creating disaffection, disunity and tension. The Peace Summit was organized by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the state government. Let's hear from Chinyere Okoli.
The summit, jointly organized by the National Orientation Agency in collaboration with Abia State Government, was put together to check the rising wave of conflict, clashes around the country, and some prevailing situations in Abia, which are considered as threats to peace and impediments to development. Governor Okezie Ikpeazu, who was represented by the Deputy Governor, Sir Ude Okochukwu, said, although Abia is considered one of the most peaceful states in the country, it must not be taken for granted.
The issue of peace and peaceful coexistence should be a concern of every tongue and eye.
Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Malam Garba Abari, pointed out some worrisome signals which he said are impediments to peace. He was represented by the NOAA Director of Anambra State, Charles Nwoji.
For a society to develop and continue to grow in a beneficial and sustainable manner, peace is needed to found, nurture and promote such a society.
The event, which was chaired by Nigeria's former ambassador to Argentina, Ambassador Empire Kano, was attended by relevant stakeholders. In Umuahia, Chinyere Okoli, NTA News.
Let's shift our attention to climate change. There are indications that climate change challenges could plunge Nigeria into serious economic crisis, that is, if adequate adaptive measures are not implemented. Now, experts at the International Center for Energy, Environment and Development share this projection with assurances that timely action would create opportunities for the country, especially in the area of renewable energy. Onengia Fineface reports.
Climate change is real, described in some quarters as an existential problem. In Nigeria, deserts are growing wider, trees disappearing, sea levels rising, floods ravaging homes and communities, weather conditions becoming increasingly unfavorable with shorter rains, heat waves, and sundry threats. If there ever is a time to formulate effective policies, implement existing recommendations, and build national resilience against the impact of climate change, that time is now.
Globally, it's been advocated that it's better to act now because the cost of inaction is going to be much more in terms of reversing the consequences.
If we are able to deal with it, then you will know that we will have removed a lot of fuel guzzling cars from our roads. That will have been an important contribution to addressing the issues of greenhouse gases. About 15% of all our emissions are from transportation.
International Center for Energy, Environment and Development, ICED, is gathering expert opinions on viable methods of responding to climate change and expanding energy access for all Nigerians.
The challenge, therefore, is to institutionalize policies that increase the quantity of energy available to all Nigerians, the quantity of clean energy, and increase them in sustainable manner.
Experts expect the Nigerian government to undertake quantitative studies on the capacity of the nation to adopt climate change dynamics. In Abuja, Onengiye Fineface, NTA News.
Thank you, Onengi. Now, in a related development, especially in this era where flooding is destroying property and displacing people in their homes, largely because of blockage of drains, experts say turning waste wealth can, to a large extent, check excesses of flooding. Kelvin Samuel in this report quotes the Akwa Ibom State Deputy Governor Moses Ekpo as challenging people to ensure that all forms of refuse are turned to income for the well-being of the society.
Waste or refuse, as it's generally called, has been a major concern in most cities, especially around African continent. In Nigeria, indiscriminate dumping of refuse poses serious problems in the society. To checkmate this unfortunate situation, the Akwa Ibom State government organized a one-day training of stakeholders on how to maximize the waste they generate and turn it into their sources of income.
The long-term goal of this dialogue is to collect different types of waste, process them into various end products, and generate revenue for the state through sale to local industries.
One thing we must know is that success is not accidental, it is intentional. So every single day we will do something intentional to create the success of Akwa Ibom State.
Beneficiaries of this waste management workshop share their lessons.
So I've really learned a lot from this program, and it's a welcome thing, and I've taken it home to execute it in my own local government.
Here today is actually really great because everything that we discussed with the agency about moving forward with waste management is being discussed today.
The training, which centered on waste reduce, reuse and recycle, has as its theme Refuse to Riches. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
And talking ICT, the Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Ono, has charged research institutions under the ministry to take the lead in the current administration's efforts to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty by embarking on projects, researches and innovations that create jobs and wealth. The minister gave the charge at Enugu during his working visit to Project Development Institute. Enugu, Jude Abugo will tell us more.
Thanksgiving service had in attendance the political class, APC stalwarts, and other critical stakeholders who joined to give glory to God on behalf of the minister and the ruling party, the All Progressive Congress. Reverend Father Henry Ugodo, who opted on the essence of Thanksgiving, commended President Muhammadu Buhari's efforts to stabilize the nations amidst security challenges and poverty reduction in the country.
One of them is that when the APC came, there's also a lot of criminality going on in Nigeria. We give them the credit. But I want to tell you, all is not yet good.
The Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Ono, who particularly called for support from Ndibo, chronicled the effort of the federal government to develop the zone. He congratulated the presidents and vice Professor Yemi Oshibanjo for their victory at the Supreme Court.
I would like to use this opportunity to call on our people in Ebonyi and in the southeast to start thinking ABC. I say this the Southeast. Whether from Onitsha to Enugu or from Enugu to Port Harcourt, Mr. President is working on them. Also, our airport, Mr. President approved 10 billion naira for our airport.
Leader, Dr. Ria appointed the Minister of Science and Technology.
We give God thanks, and we have come here today to thank God for the life, His grace, His love, His mercies, His cares that He has showered upon our leader, and by extension, every one of us in APC in Ebonyi State. Is a distinctive achiever.
Presentation from different cultural groups added color to the event. In Abakaliki, Kingsley Okoro, NTA News.
We apologize for that mix-up there. That was a Thanksgiving organized for APC chieftains in Ebonyi State. But we'll definitely bring you the report on ICT on the minister's visit to Proda in our subsequent bulletin. Let's head to Jos to join Caleb for more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Caleb.
Hello, Ruth, and welcome to Jos. Governor Simon Bako Lalong has inaugurated 2 committees as part of steps to rebrand and repackage the state as home of peace and tourism. The governor charged members to carry out their task with due diligence. Priscilla Grumnan reports.
The Investment and Economic Summit Committee, to be chaired by the Deputy Governor, Professor Sonny Tioden, is saddled with the responsibility of exploring business opportunities and opening up Plateau State to domestic and international investors. The Glorious Stars Planning Committee, on the other hand, to be headed by the DG ITF, Sir Joseph Ari, is to identify individuals or groups who have made significant contributions in the development of Plateau State. Governor Simon Lalong explained that the committees are pivotal to his administration's drive in actualizing his 3-pillar policy thrust.
Economic and Investment Summit Planning Committee. To organize and plan the Investment and Economic Summit for Plateau State. 2, to prepare the theme topics, identify and contact speakers and discussants. Number 3, to identify and invite participants, including companies and investors. 4, to make contact with relevant foreign missions, embassies and development partners for participation at the summit.
Responding on behalf of the 2 committees, Sir Joseph Ari commended the initiative of the governor and pledged to carry out their assignments with diligence.
We would carry out our assignment with the best of intention for the greater good of our people and our dear state, Plateau.
The 2 committees have 1 month to submit their reports. In Jos, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
Director General of the Nigeria Television Authority, Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, has reiterated the role of the NTA in the promotion of national unity and integration in its news reportage and programs. The NTA Director General gave this indication at the inaugural meeting of the Glorious Stars Committee. Inauguration recently by Governor Simon Lalong with the DG as member. Priscilla Grumnan again reports.
The 17-man Glorious Stars Committee is meeting to strategize and draw up methods and approaches of organizing an event with a view to changing the negative narrative of Plateau State and restoring its status as a true home of peace and tourism. Chairman of the committee, Sir Joseph Ari, who is the DG ITF, disclosed that the committee has dissolved into 3 subcommittees to fast-track and deliver on its mandate within the time frame of 1 month.
We realize the significance of this committee, and we also applaud the government for, taking the bull by the horn to set up this committee, which to my mind is meant to get back the lost glory of Plateau State.
Director General of the NTA, who stressed the importance of the event in restoring the lost glory of Plateau State, said the magnitude of the proposed event will require media presence.
As a member of the committee, I'm going to join hands with my colleagues, other members of the committee, bringing NTA where we need to bring the NTA and be sure that the committee achieves its very noble objective of recognizing those achievers who have contributed in no small measure in making Plateau State what it is today.
The committee members pledged to work round the clock to ensure the success of the event. In Jos, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
Towards addressing the menace of drug abuse and youth gangsterism, religious and community leaders have agreed to work together in Plateau State. This is the focus of a town hall meeting organized by the National Council for Muslim Youth Organization, NACOMYO, in collaboration with the King Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz Center for Interreligious and Cultural Dialogue in Jos. Abba Abubakar Yakubu has the details.
The program brought together key players in religion and promoters of cultural heritage to rub minds and form a platform on which they can profile solutions and work with government and security to sanitize their various communities from the menace of drug abuse and violence among youths. President of NACOMYO, Sanu Suleiman, attributed most of the crime and violence affecting both Muslim and Christian communities to post-violence effect.
The greatest treasure of every community, every society is their youth. And when the youth are destroying their lives through drug and substance abuse and are into gang violence, injuring themselves, killing themselves, and even injuring and killing other innocent people and perpetrating all sorts of crimes, then there is need for stakeholders to wake up and to rise up. And that is what we are doing today.
Participants acknowledged the negative effect of the activities of these misguided youths in their communities, which they blamed lack of proper upbringing, unemployment, and influence of bad friends.
From time to time, we identify those youths. We used to call them and sit with them to know their problem.
Parents are being reminded every now and then that, look, remember that these children belong to God and we are caretakers.
Whatever be outcome of this gathering, the journal is going to try to implement most of them.
Now, NACOMYO officials are hoping to follow up the suggestions given to them for the betterment of society. In Jos, Abba Abubakar Yakubu, NTA News.
We will take a commercial break and return to Ruth shortly. Thank you for staying with us.
Do you desire to upscale your skills in the area of archival management? Then you must attend NTA TV College Special 2-week intensive course on archival management in the broadcast media. Date 11th to 22nd November 2019. Course fee 80,000 Naira per participant. Accommodation inclusive. Venue NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. This course is designed for archivists, librarians, and information managers in the private and public sector. Take advantage of the course to upgrade your capacity in digital storage of audio visuals, electronic cataloging and classification of archival materials, record management, archival security, and much more. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Has succeeded to cool a galaxy of stars from the north, south, east to the west, and central Africa, and also those that are domiciled beyond the shores of Africa under one roof.
The new edition of TV Guide is out, exclusively taking a look at the traditional television and new media. Are they comparable or complementary? Media industry players give perspective on the trends, progress, challenges, and the way forward. Find out on this compelling edition of TV Guide. Expository interviews with stars of the team within our space. Becky Maduro of NTA, Utibe Wore of AIU, Nifemi Oguntai of TVC, and a host of others. TV Guide, your indispensable companion, also feature Iya Modina. A TV drama series on NTA. Let's get to meet the characters behind Iya Modina. This edition also presents exciting features on tourism, culture, entertainment, sports, health, and lots more. Grab a copy at the vendors near you or any NTA station nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
You are about to witness the commencement of the most stimulating and compelling contest on television. This contest is only for the strong, the intelligent, and the talented. Get ready for the Unity Challenge reality TV show. Coming soon.
Thanks for staying with us. Stakeholders in the federal government agricultural initiative known as Anchor Borrowers have intensified efforts towards sensitizing their members to repayment of loan facility they enjoyed under the scheme. Now, to this effect, the Northeast Commodity Association, NECAS, has raised a 5-member committee in each of the 20 local government areas of Bauchi State and saddled them with the responsibility of collection of rice and payment from farmers who benefited from the scheme. Adamu Haruna Adams report.
7,000 members of the Northeast Commodity Association, NECAS, in Bauchi State benefited from the 2018-2019 Central Bank Anchor Borrower Scheme. As the benefited members harvest their farm produce, leadership of the association intensifies efforts to ensure that all members who benefited from the facility repay using their farm produce. This informs constitution of recovery committee by the association.
Charities should understand that this is a loan. So they receive quality input, they make use of it, and we want that they should pay this one. Secondly, to the people that we have inaugurated, they should know that this is a responsibility.
The government is supporting us. So for the process to continue, we are on our feet. We want farmers to pay and let them pay.
Stakeholders are of the view that if farmers can take advantage of the scheme and repay their loans as when due in the rice value chain, the country will not experience any increase in prices of rice as a result of closure of borders.
I want to call on the general public to imbibe this program so that our country can feed ourselves and have food security and we conserve our foreign exchange.
Where there is genuine reason for a farmer not to repay as a result of disaster, will come in.
In Bauchi, Adam Haruna Adams, NTA News.
And to skills acquisition now, in making President Muhammadu Buhari's policy of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty a reality, the Speaker, Kogi State House of Assembly, has commenced training of more than 200 youths in Kogi West Senatorial District. This is in collaboration with the National Directorate of Employment. Ajibola Christopher has all the details.
The vocational training of 200 youth in Kababun West is geared towards fulfilling his electioneering campaign promises to the people, as well as providing an avenue for the youth acquire skills that will further make them become self-employed as well as employers of labor. The lawmaker said beneficiaries cut across indigenes and non-indigenes, pointing out that they will acquire training on vocations of their choice on tailoring, barbing, hairdressing, shoemaking, computer operation, electrical installation, and aluminium fabrication.
This is my humble opinion, will reduce unemployed and create a multiplier effect that will enhance the lives of the youth.
Director General, National Directorate of Employment, Dr. Nasrullah Dan Mohammed Arugungu, promised adequate training that will help the youth acquire skills that will better their lives.
We will want us to appreciate the Right Honorable for at least using his wealth, millions of naira, to shape the future of these youths.
Kogi State Governor, represented by Senator Smart Adeyemi, commended the Speaker for his initiative, saying that the training will go a long way in helping them become self-reliant. From Kaba, Ajibola Christopher, NTA News.
And reports just reaching says President Muhammadu Buhari this afternoon assented to the bill amending the Deep Offshore and Inland Basin Production Sharing Contracts Act, recently passed into law by the National Assembly. The amended bill would generate at least $500 million additional revenue for the federal government in 2020 and over $1 billion from 2021. And talking sports, Rivers Angels celebrate their emergence as champions of the 2018-2019 Nigerian Women Football League season in Lagos. Gift George has this and more on our sports update.